Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The WBA regular title holder Trevor Bryan is laughing at Dillian Whyte and UK boxing fans, saying laugh at those clowns. So you can see here on screen, this is from Bryan's Instagram story, so laugh at those clowns, and he's laughing at the clowns apparently. But the context to this before we get to another video clip from Bryan in which he's saying he's the champ, he's the one to be beaten. Dillian Whyte, post-fight after his win over Alexander Povetkin, had said he wanted an easier fight next. And then after that, he said he wouldn't mind relieving Trevor Bryan of his WBA regular title and having that fight. So the inference is that Trevor Bryan is easy work, and Dillian Whyte sees that as a fight he'd like to have mid-year, basically to pick up an easy title. So Trevor Bryan, clearly not liking what he's hearing there, posted this clip to social media.
They gonna do what? They gonna take what from who? You must be crazy, man. I'm the dream. I ain't the rest of these guys out here. I'm the champ. I'm the man. Y'all gotta come see me. I told y'all already, once I get here, it's gonna be a hard time to take me on. Let's go, champ. It's the dream. It's the dream. Champ!
So Trevor Bryan, the WBA regular champion, very confident in his abilities and what he can do, and reaffirming that he is the champion and that he's going to be holding that belt for a long time. So there's a couple of things to unpack with this, because I know that there's probably going to be some UK fans who are not very happy at Trevor Bryan sort of stirring the pot here, sort of pulling them and also calling them clowns. So it is a case that Trevor Bryan, he is unproven in the heavyweight division. So this actually, in my estimation, is a much easier fight than Dillian Whyte, if this was to be made, has been fighting at in recent years. Trevor Bryan is largely an unproven commodity in the heavyweight division. He's only fought twice since mid-2018, and those have been for vacant belts and in the WBA. So back in 2018, he fought BJ Flores, a faded former cruiserweight, that was for an interim belt. And then in January of this year, he fought a washed Berman Stavern, 42 years old, hadn't won a fight in 5 years. And that was a situation where Mahmoud Shah was meant to face Trevor Bryan, but ultimately he got sort of diddled out of that title shot because of shenanigans behind the scenes. And there's a couple of things here that, sure, it's easy to sort of say, yep, I want to face a guy like Trevor Bryan. But when you say that, you're really saying you want to deal with and work with Don King, because Don King promotes Trevor Bryan. So the first issue that I want to cover off is basically, if you get into bed with Don King, there's going to be some issues. And it's not going to go smoothly, and Mahmoud Shah has already seen this. As it is, there's meant to be a fight between Mahmoud Shah, formerly known as Manuel Shah, within 120 days of that win that Bryan had over Berman Stavern. But it's all gone quiet. It's probably not going to happen, and that's probably because King's going to make it so. As it was last time, Shah claimed that there was all sorts of information that King and his team refused to sort of pony up to ensure he got the relevant travel documents. So because that fight fell over, who was joining on the spot? Berman Stavern. It wouldn't surprise me if they try to do something similar with a Dillian Whyte. Work behind the scenes, manipulate, and then all of a sudden Trevor Bryan's fighting for another vacant belt against someone else. As it is, if you deal with Don King, you run the risk of shenanigans happening. And if you also deal with Don King, there's probably going to be a rematch clause in there. So do you really want to run the risk of that? It is a case, I think, at the moment that it's easier just to sort of swerve and go elsewhere, do something else. But this is an easier fight if they were truly targeting this. I guess, the three Trevor Bryan fanboys will probably be coming into the chat here, slamming me, slagging me off, and saying, oh, just another UK bias video. I'm not from the UK. I follow the heavyweight division. This channel was a dedicated heavyweight channel. I can say with some authority through the experience of running this channel, following these fighters closely for so long, Trevor Bryan is not an elite fighter. No matter what he wants to say, he has not proven that one iota. Beating a washed BJ Flores and a washed Berman Stavern does not make you a champion, does not make you one of the best in the heavyweight division. As it stands, Trevor Bryan would get absolutely poleaxed by most of the top 30. That performance against Berman Stavern was not a very good performance. He got the job done in the end, but he laboured at times and he was getting tagged up by Stavern, more so than he should. But yeah, he was out of shape for that, and he didn't look that flash overall. So, you know, it's all well and good to say these things on social media and say you're going to actually be a guy who's one of the top dogs, going to be hard to beat now that you've got the belt. But it's probably also going to be a case that your promoter's not going to put you into any relevant fights because he hasn't put you into any relevant fights so far. That's just a fact. Having Berman Stavern sanctioned after having not fought for a couple of years, coming off a loss, and then also not having a win in 5 years, what does that tell us? Not much. And what we did see from that fight was you weren't in the sort of shape that you should have been, and you didn't really do the sort of number and job that you should have done on Berman Stavern, at least to try to, if you're trying to claim that you are one of the best in the division, because it was a subpar performance. So Trevor Bryan, he is sort of fronting at the moment, but, you know, his promoter or whoever's got to put him into some meaningful fights. You know, hiding out for 2.5, 3 years not doing anything is a terrible look. But I guess as some people say, well, he was tying up a belt no one really wants to see fought for, so I guess that was one thing. Whether that Mahmoud Shah fight's going to happen is a question, but also, I mean, the talk of him and Dillian Whyte, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but I agree with Whyte. This is an easier fight for him than what he has been doing in recent years. Probably put Mariusz Vuk to the side, but of the other competition, Trevor Bryan is going to get iced by most of them, if not all of them. Even Mariusz Vuk, I'm sure, would be quite a tough fight for Trevor Bryan based on what we've seen. Bearing in mind, ahead of those vacant title shots, 2 vacant title shots, the 3 opponents he'd fought before that had over 70 collective losses. There is no ambition. There is no actual, real sort of drive to have a meaningful fight here. Not that I can see. And after that last performance, yeah, he's going to get iced by most of the top 30. But what do you make of Trevor Bryan responding to Dillian Whyte in the way that he has and saying laugh at those clowns? And just getting back to his Instagram from the post, actually, I can't forget this, almost did. He says, "The bloody code for anyone that takes from me," and then a bunch of emojis. "Don't get sparked, mate." And then a whole bunch of hashtags, including hashtag England, hashtag UK boxing, hashtag laugh. So I think there will be some people not really liking some of what's coming from Trevor Bryan, but I guess if he's trying to build towards this sort of makes sense to antagonize the opposing fan base, all that sort of stuff. But in reality, this is an easier fight, and Dillian Whyte would win it with ease. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.